In the Writer's Chair, candid conversations about the writing life with Lana McAra and Vandella Publishing.
Welcome to In the Writer's Chair, where we pull up a chair and talk about writing craft, the writing life, and the possibilities for writers right now. I'm your host, Lana McAra, and today I am delighted to welcome to the podcast Benjamin Coward. Benjamin works in environmental science here in Florida, where he lives with his beautiful family, and he's the author of two books, The Dragon's Tooth and Wendigo Knights. Welcome. Welcome,
Thank
Ben.
thank you so much for having me. It's great to be back.
Yeah, we had you a while ago with your first book, and now here you are with the second book. So, congratulations. I know many authors only get one book out. So, yeah.
Yeah. So this is Wendigo Knights. Um, I always get around to Halloween and it's always like I really wish I could tell a scary story. And so I finally got myself down and wrote out the book, and I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Awesome. Awesome. What is it, fantasy?
It is fiction, horror, thriller type of supernatural.
Okay.
So our world with going into a little bit of the supernatural of Wendigos, which is Native American um Algonquin, actually. So Ojibwe and quite a few other Native American tribes believe in them, and it has a very big interest in pop culture today. And I enjoy cryptids and the supernatural, so it was an easy fit for something to write about.
So, those tribes you mentioned, are they Florida tribes?
No, no. So
Oh,
um, Canada, northern United States. Um, the Algonquin tribes is basically used to be going from Canada down into northeastern United States. So New York, Delaware. Um, it describes a language group of Native American tribes.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
so.
So, you got
uh,
your ideas from some of the lore and the stories from those tribes. Is that it?
yes, yes. They have a very big so the with the Wendigo, they have a very big belief in the Wendigo, which is basically um the spirit that gets somebody to commit the act of cannibalism, such as what they believed happened to the Donner Party, and stories like that. It is a big belief, in so much as into the turn of the 19th century, there was a court case where shaman were tried for um, trying to stop a person from becoming a Wendigo. So it's a very real belief in tribes in the northern United States and into Canada that the Wendigo is very important and a very big belief to be fearful of. Um,
Okay.
so there was a lot there to be able to have a good monster for my story, where I had enough background to lean on, and it made it creepy, made it interesting, going into something that I didn't learn about and researching it was a lot of fun.
It sounds like it. Yeah, there's so many places you could go with that kind of foundation. Yeah, for sure. Did you always want to be a writer from the time you were a child?
No, um, being a writer is something I more learned within the past, 10 years. I always like to tell stories and come up with stories in my imagination, but I never thought of myself as a writer. Um, now that I am doing it, I feel like I let myself down in some way that I could have geared myself in college and things like that, but I'm very happy with where I am and telling the stories that are important to me. Um, I always wanted to work with animals though. So being able to write a story with the background that I have is makes it interesting.
Do you have like an underlying theme or purpose for your novels?
Yes. So my degree, as you said, is in environmental science. So in a lot of my stories, I try and hit on in environmental issues, such as in my first book, I talked a lot about uh, habitat fragmentation. And maybe the story doesn't have to focus on that, but you can use it as a very good plot device and make the reader think and not take the reader out of the world, but broaden the world. Um, and being able to make people think while you're reading is, for me at least, I very much enjoy it where it makes the world real. Um, so writing about environmental issues and cultural issues as well. I grew up with ADHD and always felt like an outsider, and so I wanted to write something from an outsider's perspective and make people feel like it's okay to be different.
Yeah, I think using your characters' challenges when they kind of match our challenges, then we can write from personal experience and deliver, the lessons or watch the character go through the learning of all of that, and it's such a wonderful and powerful way to help other people, don't you think?
I do think that. I I I really do enjoy being able to flesh out characters and, um, like I said, make it feel like the story's real. Um, like right now, I'm reading Percy Jackson books. I really like young adult theme. It's not as doom and gloom as some of the adult books. Um, and it gives me ideas on my own, writing from a young adult perspective. But Rick Riordan does such a great job with his characters and gives me good ideas for my own that, I don't really have in my own characters that I need to flesh them out more.
Yeah, yeah. I love what you said about the, like, for example, the environmental aspect doesn't have to take over the story. You still have a story, but you have that as kind of an add-in that makes the world kind of like a rounded out 3D world. And the same with the characters. They have these different issues or challenges that make them a 3D person, but we can do that and still tell a great story.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Actually, Wendigo Knights, I came up with the setting. It's an actual place in Hannibal, Missouri, where Mark Twain grew up. I'm originally from Missouri and loved Mark Twain and loved the caves, but there's a cave system there called Sodarless Caves. And they put these bars up on all of the cave entrances because there is some 50,000 endangered Indiana bats that live in these caves. And of course, when I heard about the bars being on the cave, I was like, oh, they're trying to keep something in. And I was like, that would be perfect for the monsters inside the cave, and it got out and is attacking people. And it was like, okay, this stuff writes itself. But at the same time, it's a real life thing. And I was like, man, this place sounds awesome.
Yeah. The trick is paying attention and catching the nuggets that come up.
Oh yes, I completely agree. I I try and not put go too far away from the story when I put my little things in there. Um, but one thing that's been very difficult for me was writing a book while having technology. Like, oh, he checked his iPhone for map directions, and I'm like, I didn't really think about that. What? But because as a kid, for me, we didn't have that. And so trying to write a book for today's kids is very different from writing for kids in the 90s. So I tried to put some detail in there that another teen would appreciate.
Is the book set in the modern day or is it set back?
Yes, yes, it is set in the modern day. I don't say exactly which year, but the kids do look something up on their phones, and it gives them a map that I found actually online within 5 minutes of the Sodarless and Hannibal of how to get into the park and all of this information, where Main Street was, where all the little shops were, and being able to tell a story about a real place. Um, oh, being able to be like, if you lived in Hannibal or went to Hannibal once, and I was like, oh, you know the ice cream parlor on Main Street. I can't remember the name. I think it's Betty's. Um, is on the corner on Main Street, and I was just like, oh, it's there, and the teens are hanging out there on Friday night. And somebody reading that would be like, oh, is that place really there? And yeah, um, it is fiction because of the supernatural qualities and that type of stuff. But I like the little nuggets of nonfiction that I can put in there. Um, yeah.
So the product placement opportunities. I mean, if you go back to Hannibal sometime, you could walk in there and say, "Hey, you're in the book. Would you like to put it on a shelf around here somewhere and sell books?"
Oh yeah, that's out there. Trust me. I plan on hitting that hard around Halloween time, um,
Yeah.
because it I did my best to tell the story of Hannibal and give a person that may not be there a good idea of what it is like to be a teen there. Um, and growing up with things that are taken for granted, like the Mark Twain uh, exhibits that are there. Everything from they have a little steamboat along the river's edge because Mark Twain was really into steamboats,
Mhm.
and they have a steamboat museum. And being able to just be like, oh, it's right there on this corner of this street, and having the characters be like, oh, the tourists are here. Gosh, they don't care about Mark Twain unless they're in Hannibal, type of thing. But I of course loved Mark Twain growing up, and those stories were part of my childhood. So being able to uh for half a second be like, oh, look past the issues of the banned books and look at it for a story in the historical quality that it provides. And trying to look at that through the perspective of a teenager that grew up with it. And it fleshes out one of the characters into a person that is jaded by it being around it all the time, and okay, I absolutely hate tourists now. you know?
Yeah, people that live in the local area oftentimes overlook their local historical things that they take it for granted. But I think if you are in an area, you should know, look around, see what's historical around you. What could you glean from that area? I've been in so many book festivals where someone near me, an author near me, had written a book about that locality. It was set in that locality. At the Sunshine State Book Festival, where we were together recently, the gal next to me had written books about Gainesville. And well, the Sunshine State Book Festival is in Gainesville. So and she would say, "Oh, all my books are set in Gainesville." And immediately the people there were like, "Where?" What? Maybe it's someplace near where I grew up, And the interest is so amazing for locations. And so you have a real open door there when, they have their festivals, state fairs, whatever they do there in Hannibal, Missouri. Or maybe they have a Mark Twain festival or something.
Oh, I mean, they have so many amazing things there. I always loved going to, they have the caves, the old Mark Twain caves, and they have spots along when you're in the cave where it's like you're going through the book.
Wow.
And I grew up with that. That's a real memory for me. So being back in the caves in Missouri, it was very nice, and it does have a creep factor to it, and but at the same time, it's what I loved about it. I loved that it was a little dark and creepy and put you on your toes a little bit. Um, but you got done and you were always like, man, that was great.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, excellent. So your first book, what
hmm
genre is that?
It was fantasy.
Okay,
Uh,
that's what where I got fantasy in my head
mhm.
because I interviewed you a while ago, and now the second book is more supernatural.
Yes, it's not the second book in a series.
Okay.
I have two different series going on. I have the Dragon's Tooth series, which is fantasy, and now the Wendigo series, not Wendigo series, but um, the series of thriller supernatural is kind of going to be its own series of hunting monsters and cryptids, and because that it is such a big part of my life. I love using my imagination, and it's a very real split between fantasy and the supernatural. So being able to have two different stories going on at the same time where I can bounce back and forth between them and still enjoy writing, not make it get old. Um, because for me, it's a great hobby to have, and I never want to feel like it's something that I don't like doing. Um, I really love being able to talk to the readers and people buying the books about connecting with them. Uh, because in a way, the book is my own way of having a conversation with the reader and being able to say my thoughts and my imagination. Um, I need, but you were at the Sunshine State Book Fair, too. Do you have any more? Uh, there's plenty of other fairs going on. Are you looking forward to any?
There's a wildflower festival that's going to be in Live Oak in May, I think. Um, the one in Amelia Island is already over. It was in January. So I don't really have a lot more that I know of in this local area. Do you?
I thought the Amelia Island one was in February.
Oh, maybe it was in February. It was like the last day of January, first day of February, somewhere in there.
Be-
Um, yeah.
because mine is on in Amelia Island is February 28th.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will look into that for sure
Yeah.
because I thought it was over. Yeah. Yeah.
They're still doing stuff, but the actual fair is on the 28th, I believe.
Have you thought of going to other events rather than just book fairs? Do you go to any other kinds of events?
Actually, yes. I found of all places Palaka.
Oh, yeah.
Palaka at Ravine Gardens does a lot of great events, and uh being able to be out in nature and talk to readers at the same time is like the perfect spot for me. It is really great to connect with people, and Palaka is was a surprise for me when I first went there because it was like, okay, I'm probably going to sell one or two books here, and I ended up selling out.
Well, great.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, the people were so nice,
Mm.
and it was such a rewarding experience that I've been going back several times.
Well, great. I'm
Yeah.
so glad to hear that. Yeah, it's really important for writers to talk to each other about what's going on. I started going to the gun shows, and I know that's odd, because I'm not a gun person at all. I know I don't own a gun. I don't think I've ever shot a gun, but one of my books is a thriller where it's one of those chase CIA, everybody's after you with a gun kind of a book. And I contacted the gun show coordinator based off the sign. There was a big sign said gun show coming and a website. And so they let me come and put up a table. I was the only one with books in the room. And I did sell some books and I got some good contacts as well. So, yeah, I mean, think outside the box, about what else could be adjacent
Yeah,
to the story.
yeah. I would not have thought about that. Yeah, and the Wendigo Knights does have guns in it, so yeah. Um, I I I always think about like craft shows,
Yeah.
because it is a form of art that we're doing, writing in books. So being able to have all the art around you and then be one of the few booksellers there. Like I said, putting yourself out there at any type of craft show or being able to um, have the experience of talking to uh, people gives you great experience for when you actually are at a book show and you don't know how to start a conversation. Um, like like on any interview, you practice. Because there could be plenty of people that walked up to my table and I did not know how to get my book across. When I first started, I didn't know how to tell about my book in 1 minute to 30 seconds before their interest goes, oh, there's something over there.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you do it? Like just pretend I'm somebody walking up to your table. What would you say to me?
Uh, um, so like for the dragon's tooth, when I first had that, I would just be like, hey, do you like dragons? Oh, good, you do. So imagine a world where you have dragon riders, and I'm going to tell you the story of how uh, dragons and riders came to be connected. And I'm building this world with magic and elves and everything that you love about fantasy, and trying to make it into a real place for you. Then it goes, okay, how are you doing that? And I'm like, oh well, and it
Oh,
goes from
yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's terrific. That is wonderful because you're creating the world and they're
Mhm.
experiencing a little taste of it. And then if they're, if that's their thing, they're going to go, "Oh, that sounds cool."
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's one of the best openers I've ever heard, Ben, honestly.
They
Yeah.
um, and you have bad experiences too. I had a bad experience at the latest fair where I was being really nice, and the mom came over first, and I'm like, and her daughter's in the next one over, and I'm like, oh, uh, trying to get information to see what age for young adult the reader is, because I'm not a tall person, and anytime I see a person my size, I'm like, oh, they're probably within the age range, and I'm like, oh, how old is your little girl? And she goes, she's 17. And then the daughter who heard me, then I had to have the conversation with her about trying to sell my book. She was very nice. Both parent and child were very nice, but it set me up for failure because I was like, I don't know what to say now. I have officially burned a bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
but ha having the books read is such an amazing experience, and being able to talk to parents and grandparents that they're like, "Oh, this would make a great gift for this," and being able to see into their lives for a minute of getting a book and appreciating it is amazing.
Oh, I know. I know. When someone comes up and talks to you about your book and tells you how it affected them and they're looking for more, there's just nothing like it.
Oh, and yes. I being a new author, I haven't had a ton of those experiences yet, but I've had a couple, and it is always so rewarding to be like, they come up to you and they're like, "Okay, so what's next?"
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's building a following. That's what it's called. Wow, what a great conversation, Ben. I'm so glad we got a chance to talk today. Give us your website.
So I don't have a website right now. I'm working on it. But you can find me on Instagram or Facebook. And of course, you can find my books on Amazon or Barnes& and Noble.
Okay, excellent. And give us the two titles just so we have it here at the end.
The two titles are The Dragon's Tooth and Wendigo Knights.
Wendigo Knights. It's Wendigo.
Yes,
Yes.
Wendigo Knights.
Oh, and look at the monster. Oh my gosh.
Knights with an N.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, Ben, thank you so much for our conversation today.
Okay, thank you. It was always nice to talk to you.
And thanks for pulling up a chair with us today. See you next time.